This podcast is hosted on podhome.fm, the most modern podcast hosting platform. Podhome offers unlimited episodes and podcasts, and unlimited use of Podhome AI, which generates transcripts, clips, chapters, title suggestions, show notes, and much more. And all of that for just $15.99 a month or $185 per year. That's a steal. So go to podhome.fm and start your 30-day trial now. And enjoy the show with Joe.
Transmitting live from the Asylum Studios, deep in the bowels of Southwest Texas. It's the Joe Rooz Show. The show where we talk about anything and everything. Where nothing is sacred, nothing is watered down, and nothing is PC.
Alrighty, well, hey folks, this is Joe Rooz, and it is great to be with you once again, transmitting live from the Asylum, and of course, as always, doing the very best we can to bring you the best quality talk radio we could muster, without all the bluster. Welcome to the show, folks. It is a great day here for me, because I'm going to be very honest with you. I am fanboying right about now. And you'll know why here in a second, because, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about what we put into our bodies, but really not enough time talking about everything else that's getting into them that we didn't choose to put into our bodies. Now, today, my guest is Matthew Hazen, founder and CEO of Human Consciousness Support, the company behind this amazing product right here called MasterPeace. You know, Matthew's work focuses on environmental toxins, heavy metals, glyphosate, microplastics and other contaminants, and on what we can potentially do to help our bodies deal with that increasing toxic burden. Now, like I said, this one's going to be a little bit different for me, because I've actually been using the product for myself. So we're not only going to talk about the product, but we're also going to be talking about the man who created it, the philosophy behind it, the research, and the much bigger conversation about health and wellness in the world that we're living in. Matthew, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
How you doing there today, Joe? Yeah, we're going to get into some great stuff today.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And I'm telling you, like I said, I'm fanboying here a little bit, because, you know, I before we get into anything with the product, you know, I got to tell you, I found you on Alex Jones's show, and it was one of those moments where I was just kind of sitting there. I wasn't really thoroughly paying attention to what was on the screen in front of me, because I had it on. I was at my job, so I'm watching, and then I just heard you start talking, and I heard a couple of little things that you said, and I was like, well, that's interesting, and I stopped and I started watching, and you know, everything that you said made sense to me. Everything that both of you talked about made total sense to me, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try this stuff out for myself. And, you know, I've been using it now for almost 3 weeks complete. And, man, I'm going to tell you something. I promise you, folks, I am not talking to you off a talking points sheet. I'm not saying anything that I have, you know, like bullet points to talk from. I am being very, very honest with you. This stuff works. All right. And again, 3 weeks on it. I think I reached out to you guys maybe 2 weeks after I started it. And I was like, you know what? This stuff is fantastic. I love it. I want to be an affiliate with you guys. And I said, I want you on the show. And we made it happen. And I am incredibly thankful for that. I really do appreciate it, Matthew. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. You know, I think there's an old saying that said there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time had come. And, you know, I think the love that a father can have for his daughter is a very powerful love. And I just had some kind of reckoning one day where it's like the world that we were in and a lot of the problems had so much to do with how we were poisoned and the poisons in our environment and so forth. And it didn't seem out of the whole alternative movement or anywhere for that matter. I knew Big Pharma wasn't interested in creating products that were going to make their other products obsolete and counter their other products, I guess you would say. Yeah. And it's been a joy. My life is full of blessings. I literally every day hear stories like what you're saying. You know, right before I came on here, a lady left me a long message, and I was lucky to even see it because usually it goes to my team to handle. And her mom was dying, and 2 different times. And what she's saying is through her tears and whatnot is that her, mom was. The fact of the matter is, our health is being root caused and our health issues, I should say, by these chemical poisons and the radiation poisoning and the synergistic effect of both. And now that we have something that has been proven in so many different clinical studies, we've done so many clinical studies that have different third-party lab testers and different third-party analyzers and measuring microplastics and graphene oxide and toxic metals like aluminum and harmful things like glyphosate. And what's really beautiful is seeing people consistently take MasterPeace, carving out those toxins and remineralizing their bodies, which is all MasterPeace is doing. It's a very natural formula. It's really only $1 a day. We've improved it. We've improved the company 1 million times over in 3 years, but we're never going to raise our costs because this thing was made to be affordable for humanity. And the results that people get do sound miraculous, but they're all very consistent. So
they are.
You get used to hearing people say, I've been taking prescription drugs. I've been dealing with this disease, or what they told me I had my whole life. And ever since, and then they say I've been taking MasterPeace and things are much, much better. And it's just beautiful, shows like Alex Jones, the listeners here on your show, and other real big Candace Owens, Redacted, their listeners give them such good feedback about how good they're feeling. And it's beautiful. It's like, wow, imagine how bad our health gets when we're poisoned. And we've been slowly poisoned. So it's like we've been slowly cooked. But our bodies and our minds start feeling that good all the way around when we start getting the poisons out. It's like you become more childlike. It's crazy. It's right. Like you just realize when you start taking it, it could take a day, it could take 2 weeks, and really it's just like this. It's not a big deal. You do that twice a day. That's all you need to do. Tastes like seawater because it is very high quality purified seawater. It is diluted down to be basically identical to your blood plasma in every way that a lab would test. So very, very healthy. And when you get these environmental toxins, nefarious or not, out of your body and remineralize your body, man, everything just starts improving in your life. And yeah, I'm very... the only time we really don't see MasterPeace work where someone is really happy is if they don't consistently take it. If it's like a supplement that they take 3 times a week instead of twice a day, that's about it.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of an issue with your internet right now, I think. Cause,
do you want me to try to turn off my camera? I'm not sure why though.
Yeah, because you're kind of
okay,
bouncy. I'll give you a chance to
reset.
Is
this a little bit better?
Well, I can't see you now. Well, I can't see you now, but
I know. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Well,
if you're on StreamYard, when it downloads, a lot of times it cleans it up.
All right. Well, we'll give it a try. If not, then you'll just have to come back and we'll do it again. That's all.
That'll work.
All right.
It'll be fine.
So before we get into what MasterPeace is and everything that surrounds it, what I really want to know is, and the audience wants to know, because the part of my show, the key of my show is that we like to know who the people are behind the scenes, behind the products, behind the books and all that. So how did you end up doing this?
Always been curious, always been very health-minded. And my daughter, my wife was pregnant with our daughter, and I was a very old parent compared to when I was 17 and had my first child. And I thought, oh my gosh, I cannot I was really scared because I felt like I was going to be living a life where I was going to watch this world chew up my daughter and spit her out, and I'm not going to be able to do anything about it. And I didn't see anybody doing anything that was going to bring on a real change. I've seen a lot of truth tellers and people wanting to expose information, but no real solution minded. Like, what's the keystone part of the problem and how do we address it, right? So I realized that all the things that were being done to control the masses was predicated on us being poisoned. That's why we've been poisoned with things and shots that shouldn't be, ingredients that shouldn't be in shots, ingredients that shouldn't be in our food or anything else, right? I mean, in our air. And so I thought there's got to be an answer in nature somewhere. And it was just a journey. It was a journey. I don't believe in divine intervention. I'm very much a scientific-minded person. I think coincidences are just coincidences. They don't have to mean everything. But a lot of my belief system has been challenged in this process because we truly have the greatest, not just humanitarians, but the greatest scientists, the greatest minds, the greatest do-gooders that have now come into our scope, that we travel the world with, that we complete studies with, that we try to get out the news about MasterPeace with. We are talking about a product that is by far the most censored, banned, attacked product ever. If you think of a regulatory agency, they've been breathing down our neck. We have to keep multiple lawyer teams, international, domestic. I mean, it's really ridiculous. Our whole system relies on people feeling like crap for it to operate. If you don't feel like shit and you don't have a lack in you or scarcity, then you're not going to buy that TV, think that you need a new car, think that nicer clothes are going to make you feel better about yourself. You're not going to, if your stomach don't hurt, you're not going to go buy antacids. If you don't get headaches, you're not going to get Tylenol. I mean, anything you buy comes from you not being whole. I mean,
that's right.
You got to get hungry to buy food, right? So, they don't like MasterPeace, guys, because we have very beautiful, high-functioning bodies if they're not poisoned. And so when something has come along that has breached this new nano-size level toxins and world that our world's kind of been hit with now, that we have nanotechnology and everything. And nanotechnology is just really the nano-sizing, which means making something super small, super metabolizable, super, get into smaller places, get into cells instead of just into the body. So It's a whole new level of problems and poisoning that we're dealing with now. So this is Mother Nature's answer, I would say. MasterPeace, if you wanted to explain it real simple, you would tell someone that if you can picture our whole world is kind of like a fishbowl and it's polluted, okay? Mm-hmm. And so it may get polluted over somewhere on the other side of the fishbowl, but it eventually comes over to here. We're all a big smorgasbord, right? Okay. So it's not like you just pollute the ground in America and it never goes outside of America. That's not the way it works. All right.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's areas on our polluted earth that are really crazy clean and purified. And those are like blue zones, or like the Greek islands or Fiji Islands. And what they have in common is the two exact ingredients that we put in the MasterPeace. We just nanosize it so it can get deep into our bodies, into our brains, and everywhere. And that is zeolite. Zeolite is a crystalline sea mineral. It originates as lava, but when hot lava hits seawater, one of the most beautiful chemical processes on Earth happens, natural processes, and it makes zeolite. Zeolite has like a magnet. It's a magnet for poisons. And I'm literally saying a magnet as in it has a negative magnet charge, and poisons have a positive magnet charge.
Okay.
In your body, and I'm sorry, just to clarify, poisons and minerals both have positive charges. So when you put zeolite, which is a mineral that your body doesn't know what to do with, it's inert. It doesn't affect your body, but it's your body's not going to can't metabolize it.
Okay.
We get it down to the nano size. And then we coat it with minerals. So just think about a negative magnet zeolite, and this is at a nano size. It's super small. And then here comes the whole array of sea minerals that is positive charge. So it's just coating it barely, just barely. And then we put this into our body, and it goes to the deepest parts of your mind, body, everywhere. Mm-hmm. And the minerals are just barely coated on there. And then when it finds a toxin, which has a strong positive charge, it hits the MasterPeace, which then displaces some of the minerals so that your body can decide which mineral with a positive charge is going to take the exact place that toxin with a positive charge just had. So people literally get to upgrade their body from being toxin filled to being mineral efficient, and they don't have to experience the normal detox or Herxheimer reactions that is associated when you're detoxing your body. People think, man, that's going to be uncomfortable. Detoxing is never a comfortable experience. Well, it is now. It is now.
I've had people ask me that when I've talked about the product with them, and I said, well, it's a detox, and I try to explain it to them. And they were like, detox? I mean, what are you, like a drug addict? Or no,
right,
it's not.
Right,
no, it's
right.
not
They
that
think,
at all.
They think you're trying to come down off of heroin.
Yeah, exactly. No, so I'm like, no. And I try to explain to them, you have all of these, like these synthetic, artificial things that are just floating in the air around us. You're breathing them in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're bathing in them. You're eating them. You're drinking them. And this stuff cleans it out of your system. That's the detox. It pushes it out. And of course, it affects everybody differently. You know, to me at least, I've noticed that since I started working out again, just the I don't want to be gross, but the odor of the sweat is much different than it is when you normally would work out. And then that's, to me, that's those toxins being pushed out by this incredible product. And
better out than in.
Yeah, exactly. And so I try to explain it to them that way. So what you're telling us right now, this is like above the blue collar pay grade, I guess. But this is such important information. This is an important product. And again, I'm not saying this because you're here, and I'm not saying this because I'm affiliated with your company now. This is not anything like that. I am telling you, this stuff works. And the reasons why it works is why you're here. So that's the explanation for it.
It works so good that I'm, having to deal with attacks from every place.
Well, that's because you're hovering over the target. That's why. So you're going to take the most fire, when you're over the target. Yeah, when you're barking up the right tree, and you're absolutely right, and that's So there's a process in our world that hasn't been corrupted, and it's in science. And what it's called is the double-blinded peer-reviewed process. And what it means is that when someone writes new science or medical information, the author, doesn't know the 3 PhDs with epidemiology that are going to look at the science, see that it's legit, and they are PhDs in epidemiology are professionals at reading information and verifying that it's correct. Okay. Right.
They put their reputations on the line to approve new science. So for them to approve when both the author and the people looking at the paper don't know each other, that's a double-blinded peer-reviewed process. It's really so ironclad. There's a real important reason why I'm trying to explain this. It's so ironclad that during the pandemic, all of the major pharmaceutical companies that made shots, none of them were able to use their billions of dollars, all their power, all their might, all their coercion tactics in order to be able to produce one not a single one double-blinded, peer-reviewed paper saying their shot was safe and effective.
Mhm.
So we still have this double-blinded, peer-reviewed process in place. Now, reason why I tell you this is because Masterpiece is mentioned in over 23 double-blinded, peer-reviewed articles that have been published through the ACTNA Medical and Scientific Journal by no other than Dr. Robert Oldham Young, who is known by all that knows his work as the Tesla and Rife of our time. He's the most published double-blinded, peer-reviewed author of our time and co-formulator of this product. If anybody's familiar with Tony Robbins, he was Tony Robbins' main keynote speaker for many, many years.
Wow.
He flown out to Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, in court when Big Pharma was taking him out for publishing on a cancer study showing how to reverse cancer 100% of the time naturally. When he published that paper and started traveling the world, Big Pharma and the entire muscle of the system that runs the world turned against him because they don't want healthy slaves, to put it one way or another. And he knows this to be the antidote. He knows that Masterpiece essentially gives people their highest version of who they are, because our whole lives, if we just think, if everybody real quickly can just close their eyes and remember when they were 6 and 7 years, 10 years old, and they would wake up and how they would feel. Nobody had to ask them if they slept good. It didn't matter how good they slept or not. It didn't matter. They were just off to the races. Doesn't matter, you know, are you having a good day? They look at you like you're crazy to ask such a silly question. You know, what do you mean? Yeah. That's what they would say. Well, the reason why you're not that anymore is because you've been poisoned. You didn't get old. You didn't get grumpy. No. Start getting the poisons out, and you're going to find out just how childlike you can be, because when you sleep deeper than you slept in a long time, you start dreaming wild dreams again, because you will be dreaming wild dreams again. You keep taking Masterpiece. When you have that deep rest, when you have that clarity, when you just feel good for no other reason at all than you just feel good, you start affecting everything in your life, your environment, your workplace, your family, your loved ones. Everything that you touch is more positively affected. You make your life and you better. And Masterpiece supports that. It's only around $1 a day. I would not. And, you know, aluminum, that's a big hot topic. Glyphosate's a big hot topic. Microplastics are a big hot topic. We are currently the only companies who have funded human clinical studies that are properly run with a proper chain of custody and so forth, to be able to, and we publish them through the double-blinded process, which we talked about. And what that makes for it, Joe, is that I can go on shows like your show or Alex Jones's show or anybody's show, and I can tell you in a 27 cohort group published through ACTA Medical and Scientific Journal, we showed a 68% reduction in the levels of nano-sized glyphosate, meaning primarily glyphosate 2, the worst kind, in 90 days of taking Masterpiece. So look, you know glyphosate ain't helping your body, and it's hurting you in a bunch of ways, neurological and everything else. We don't understand, but we know it, right?
But what exactly is glyphosate? There are people who don't know. So give us an idea.
When our grandparents in America were growing up, they had a thing called DDT, and they would spray the neighborhoods with it so it'd cut down on the mosquitoes, supposedly. Well, DDT became so poisonous, it found out to be so poisonous, they stopped it. But the next generation was the stuff called Agent Orange, which we seen in Vietnam. So they were spraying Agent Orange all over, you know, which was just spraying the worst chemicals at them. Well, that stuff was banned because it was just so harmful, making flipper babies, all kinds of crazy stuff. So now they turned around and now they made glyphosate. That's the third generation. and it's sprayed on our foods so that nothing alive can eat them without dying. And then we turn around and eat it. I don't know. Can someone explain this to me?
I wish I could. I wouldn't even know how to explain that to somebody. It's ridiculous, to be honest with you.
It is bizarre how, yeah. So glyphosate is a neurotoxin, to put it. It's a mycotoxin, it's a hemotoxin, a blood toxin, it's a cytotoxin, and it's also a magnetic toxin. It disrupts every functionality of your body. Everybody, we're going to have a quick microbiology course. It's going to last 10 seconds. You ready?
Go for it.
Over 99.5% of the molecules in your body, take 200 million molecules times 72 trillion cells, and you are 99.5% or more minerals and water, and you have a small electrical charge. That is you, okay? Anything that is disrupting your blood, the magnetic, the electromagnet, your electromagnetic body, electromagnetic field, it screws you up. And glyphosate is one of the worst things ever made. Donald Trump, unfortunately, I don't know if he was in the know or not, but he put a thing on glyphosate about 4 months ago, gave them total immunity, gave Monsanto total immunity, which only Big Pharma had that before. Why would you do that unless they were really harming people? It makes no sense, right? So, And
how does that jive with what Robert Kennedy Jr. is doing with Maha? I mean,
I'm not a big political person, because I think it's all the different heads of the same snake kind of deal.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I would just say, I don't know. I would be speculating, and I would be giving you my opinion. And
I'm not really looking for an answer to the question. It's more of a rhetorical thing, I mean,
I would say there's so many years of Bobby Kennedy professing he knew exactly what was going on with aluminum adjuvants and shots and all kinds of things, everything. He's in the know. And for him to now be controlled or whatever, so that nothing is actually changing forever. Anything they even pretend to do, like the flu vaccine in the military and all that, 1 month later, they stopped it. I mean, it's all a big joke. They could act like they're doing something. It's really to keep us complacent and the men not from taking action, and the men still hoping that our politicians or regulatory bodies or agencies are going to start picking up these bad actors that are trying to destroy the world. And it's not going to happen. It's going to come down to more than a political revolution. I'm not saying anything that's so crazy to say anymore. I think we all can kind of see it. This is not a battle or a problem or a fight that any of us would want. I mean, they're not giving us anywhere to run. They're not giving us any quarter. There's no mercy. There's no grace. You tap out now, they'll cut off your head. There you are at. They don't care. They're just,
that's very right.
For another day.
Another conversation, another day.
That is another day.
So let me ask you this. So there's a term that comes up quite a bit called synthetic internal biosystems. Okay. So what exactly is that?
Well, I would say that the creator of what you just termed, and I've termed it that way for a long time. If we were, let's get real specific. One of the creators of it, C.M. Leiber, calls it the ghost system, which is graphene oxygenated silicon technology system. So you're talking about the system that the world leaders at the World Economic Forum has been talking about for many decades, which is in actuality the keystone part of their end of times plan called Agenda 2030.
Yep. So
their diabolical plan that they've had to be in the open a little bit about, not any more than they had to, but it involves so much biotech. It involves the WHO, CDC, presidents of nations. It involves everybody to some degree that has to be on the take. So it can't just not be in the open to some degree. What is most important is instead of them just trying to control the money, our outer reality, and control beliefs, programming, stuff that we would see with MK Ultra studies and so forth. They want to control us from the inside out. They want to augment and control our reality. This is all verified, and if anybody doesn't, if they can stand it, let's just be factual here. The Department of Justice, they are the ones that released the Epstein files. They didn't have to. It wasn't public. They chose to. It is over 3.5 million pages of every type of communication behind all these people at the top and what their plans are. You can piece it all together by reading it.
Right. Yeah,
it is all right there. It is their offered testimony because it's their making emails, not knowing they were ever going to get caught. All right. For their plan to work, they got to be able to control us, which are like computer nodes on their smart grid, their overall grid around the planet. And this, what I would call neuroface technology, this system is 97% graphene oxide and silicon.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 layers to it, and it's 3% oxygen. I know this system front to back from reading the double-blinded studies by one of its creators who was completely taken out by the feds, went to China, came back. He was a Harvard professor. His name is C.M. Lieber, Lieber. His work, along with Dr. Robert Oldham Young's work, completely verify each other and also verify Jesse Beltran's work, who will be speaking at the #1 counter-espionage thing in a month from now, which will be huge. Bottom line is, people, when you use high-level equipment that is supposed to measure a room to see if it is wired or bugged or mic'd, when you put that level of equipment on a human body, we should not be emitting radio frequencies. We should not be like, why does my forehead release 212.001, which goes back to Department of Home, whatever, security, like.
Is that what I saw it on Alex Jones's show? He had a gentleman on there that was scanning him, like wanding him. And
that's Jesse Beltran. That is a level 4 technical surveillance countermeasures expert. That is the highest certified guy. He gets paid buku bucks to see if anybody or anything is wired. And he was using what's called a non-linear junction scanner. And that device picks up harmonic readings of silicon-based electronic circuitries, which will only ever, that's a $20,000 piece of equipment. It will only measure electronic equipment such as your phone, key fobs, your TV. It has to be, every electronic device has silicon in it, and then the frequencies. So our body should not be emitting those from specific exact spots. We're all emitting and registering from specific locations. That shows that we are somehow become half computer. Now, when you see people in the agencies come forward and talk about their super soldier symptoms and about how they use telepathy to communicate with other agency people for over a decade now, like we had a lieutenant general for the the equivalent of a lieutenant general for the MI6, Ralph Hautzel, come forward on redacted.
I saw that.
Yeah. So when we're talking about, and he's not the only one, he's just the only one talking right now on the front. They're coming out now because they're seeing others come out. The main CIA director, James Woolsey, that was 84, was plagued with the same symptoms of Havana syndrome. And that is the symptoms only derived that come from this computer system inside of you, which is obviously getting a lot of radiation because it's like a phone. So when it's picking up signals, when it's registering, it's a 2-part system. The first part of the system is picking up every type of bio and mental metric you can imagine. So not just your heartbeat, not just the location. Those are simple physical things. Every memory, every thought you have in your head is collected. These agency guys back in 2017 were told, hey, imagine if you work for the CIA, Joe, and I tell you, Joe, you don't have to type out any of your reports anymore. You don't have to go sneak a note into a Dropbox anymore to pass off clues. You don't have to get on the phone and give yourself away and expose yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Because now, Joe, that we have this system inside of you, everything you're looking at is being collected in the cloud. Everything that you hear is collected in the cloud, and everything you think is collected in the cloud. So you don't have to record out your work anymore. All you have to do is do it. So if they can do that to agency people and they don't know that it's happening, even though they know it's happening, why couldn't they do that to everybody else? Doesn't it make sense they were beta testing that? And don't we look at the data centers? So one aspect is picking up your biometrics and mental metrics. The other aspect is putting into, so it's the same line of silicon and graphene. There's a graphene mesh. I'm not going to try to explain it because it just won't make much sense with me trying to do that. But one aspect of it is collecting your data. The other one is pushing in frequencies, which can literally do a lot more than just create your mood. It can make you into full hallucinations. It can make a 40-year-old man think he's a woman who's pregnant by removing every memory of his life, of him being a man and a boy. And then, for him to believe that he's now a pregnant woman. Alien abductees that think an alien came down their front yard, telepathically told them to tell the world we need more love and light. Everybody has that same story. It's all schizophrenia, which is voice to skull technology. That is, or what they call God's voice technology, which is them basically in Iraq. They told the Iraqi soldiers, in their voice, this is God, put your weapons down. I will take you to safety. And they put their weapons down and gave themselves up to American soldiers. I mean, look how effective that is, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Look in Venezuela, when they were able to take 300 soldiers, cherry pick them out of an area and irradiate them so much that it took all the moisture out of their body, and they moved the bodies back in shoeboxes. So, men our size fitting in a shoebox by taking out all their water of it. You're talking, look in Wuhan when people would go, and then they would just die, right? So this device that is right now in every single person that we have tested thousands. Jesse has tested thousands and thousands of people since 2021 in multiple countries, all types of people. Mm-hmm. There is no one he has tested that doesn't have this system to some degree in their bodies. And most people now have over 20 locations. The whole system is set up. It is on, testable and measurable, just not turned up. And so it's kind of like they get it into everybody's bodies, and when they're ready to turn it on and join everybody to the grid, then everybody's personal autonomy and mineral sovereignty will be forever gone.
Wow.
That's why MasterPeace is a real big deal, because we filmed the study I'm about to tell you about by the Died Suddenly film crew, which is probably is good. They are right now at the Noah's Ark excavation. These people have done documentaries that have had possibly up to 1 billion views. And they filmed our entire study where we took the silicon junction scanner, put people on MasterPeace, and we got out 78% of the signals in 60 days. So 78% of the radio frequencies and emissions were gone. And in our graphene oxide study, a separate study, remember that we're talking about a silicon system and a graphene system. We did a graphene oxide study that showed 71% reduction in 90 days. So if you're removing 71% of the graphene oxide and you're removing 78% of the silicon out of the computer system that's inside of you, how good can it work anymore and control you?
That's right. Yeah.
And it's that simple. It's around $1 a day. That's why everybody in the world, we got to get this out. This is very important. We have a world to save. And we have to learn how to protect ourselves and our loved ones individually first. And then from there, all the money in the world ain't going to save my kids. I want everybody on MasterPeace so we have a chance. We need people that can critically think. We need men that understand what they're trying to do to our kids and the future of all life and know that, this is unfortunately not a fight that we can choose to go in or go out of. We are all going to hang together or we are going to hang separately, period.
Yeah.
It's time for sure.
You're absolutely correct, man. You are there's nothing that I could say that I can't even comment on what you said because you are spot on, absolutely spot on. And we also saw that when they rolled out the COVID shots, the clot shots. People were starting to register with Bluetooth signals, right?
We did a Bluetooth study. Yeah, we did a Bluetooth study that David Icke's film team filmed for free. Very, very bizarre. Why would our bodies be emitting Bluetooth signals or media access control signals? And I apologize. I feel like I cut you off. But one thing also about the pandemic that we all learned from is that they have this whole world on lock because didn't every single nation lockstep? You could say, oh, this nation, it took 2 more months before this kind of regulation came down or that kind of but everybody's rights were taken. Everybody, it was a massive display of how well they can operate and control the masses together. And if we think that they're weaker now, then we're kidding ourselves. That's why we have to do new things that have never been done before in all of millennia so that we can get new results. The good thing is we got truth and love on our side, and that's in real science. It's not a new agey thing. I can tell you, you can't make change unless the truth comes out. They release the truth. The Epstein files is the truth. So we actually have everybody out there nowadays, for the most part. Everybody knows that the world that we're living in is not passing the sniff test. At least it's not passing the sniff test, right? And it doesn't matter how far they understand how screwed up the world is or not. Everybody knows this ain't cool, right? And so we can go and we can say, okay, what we have is the people that are aware, and we also have an antidote. Okay, listen. The Department of Justice would not have released the Epstein files unless they thought they already had us hook, line, and sinker. They would have not exposed their butts unless they knew they had us. It goes against the art of war. And if anybody out there read the art of war, they go, oh yeah, that's so true. Okay. I believe every man should read the art of war.
I agree. Absolutely.
Learn how the enemy thinks, right? Okay. So when we are looking at, okay, we know that what we can do is totally get rid of the linchpin of their plan, the keystone part of their plan, the part of their plan that if it's not there, it all unravels and falls apart, okay? If they can't force their politicians and force their agency guys and force you into submission where no matter how much we try to revolt, they could just fry us, they can make the men feel apathetic enough that we will never take action. They can just turn up the knob perfect. Mm-hmm. So this system, it controls you subconsciously and consciously on every level that you can imagine. They're keeping us perfectly neutered right now, okay? When you take MasterPeace, you start thinking like, hold on. Why aren't we organized? You start having thoughts that you just didn't have before.
Well,
You
because
start
it
critically.
clears out that brain fog. It
Yeah.
clears all that stuff up. And something else very interesting too. I'm sure you've noticed it. I've noticed it. Other people have noticed it. All of a sudden, everywhere you look, all you hear about is low testosterone in men,
Yep.
atrazine,
Yep.
and all that stuff. How does MasterPeace deal with that?
MasterPeace gets the atrazine out. I'll tell you why I know that. Okay. First off, we had pulled levels on people. We're doing an atrazine study next, by the way. We have pulled levels before, but we weren't able to complete this one study. It's not worth going into. Okay. You know how you have girls that become like girl boys,
Mhm.
boy girls. I'm sorry. And so we have like 5 examples in my head right now. 2 of them are my wife's good friends. And they hadn't been with men for like 20 years, since they were like teenagers and stuff. And for whatever reason, they just, started dominating women, dressing like boys, right? That was, they were the man of the relationship. So atrazine, everybody, doesn't make you gay, doesn't make the frogs gay. Let me explain. It's a better explanation.
I was gonna mention it. I'm glad you did it first, but okay.
Right. You're making the frogs gay. No, they're not making the frogs gay. What they're doing is giving the frogs gender dysphoria, which means the boy frog all of a sudden wants to get pegged, and the girl frog all of a sudden wants to put on a strap on and peg the guy, and then they get real weirded out. So the girl all of a sudden wants to dominate a girl, and that's how she gets turned on, and she likes that for whatever reason. And then you have these guys. Okay, so we get it. Now, how do you know that? Go find yourself your local meth addict. Go find your local meth head, and if he was being honest or she was being honest, she would tell you, because how do we know that? We actually tested some meth. It was almost 31% atrazine when we tested it. So the actual meth that I sent off, I shouldn't say that on the thing. I remember it was almost 31% atrazine. And I thought, oh, that makes a lot of sense then. So I would just say this. From all the guys in the TI community who are really gone through a lot, targeted individual community, a lot of them, a lot of them are gay or whatever. And it's like, this is not going to change if you're gay. This is going to change if you all of a sudden don't like to have sex with a woman anymore and you want her to have sex with you. And atrazine is a gender dysphoria disruptor on the highest level. And it's in our city water. It's in my city water here. I see it in the report. I'm like, what? They use it to clean out the fluoride or chlorine levels when you have to use so much fluoride or so much chlorine to kill the other stuff. And then they say, well, you put this much fluoride, so you got to put this much this stuff. Now you got to put this much atrazine. I mean, it's just,
before you know it, you're not even drinking water. You're just drinking chemicals.
Right. Yeah. It's just terrible, right?
Yeah.
So, what we're dealing with is, good thing about MasterPeace is we've done studies on microplastics like PFOs, PFOAs, polypropylene, polyethylene. Those are big deals. The nefarious substances that we were talking about with the transhuman biosystem, which is graphene oxide, and with silicon, we've done individual studies on those. And also, guys, we've done hair studies, blood studies, and urine studies on like toxic metals like lead and mercury and aluminum. Mm-hmm. And all these studies have different almost all of them. We use the same lab for a couple of them, but out of like 8 studies, 6 different labs, 6 different third-party testers, right? And it's all about the same results. And so here's the deal. For around $1 a day, guys, based on the performance of our previous studies, and from the thousands and thousands and thousands of testimonials that you'll read if you do a little bit of investigating, you're going to see reduction levels of about 55 to 80% of the lifelong accumulated toxins in your body in 90 days. But you're going to have minerals in your body that weren't there before. So everything's just going to be doing better, feeling better. You're going to feel better. And it's a new lease on life, because we all need to be at our best right now. We can't do that the way that we're poisoned.
Yeah. Now, just So somebody's diagnosed low testosterone. MasterPeace is going to help them with that?
I would say that the environment and your internal environment, I apologize. Yes. Answer is yes, not directly,
Okay.
but strongly indirectly, because it is going to clean up your body. So your body is going to be functioning and performing, which means it will have its natural levels much easier to hold. It's called like getting your body's entire homeostasis back. So your body is designed to be able to have normal hormone levels. Right now, it's constipated with toxins and poisons, so it can't do that. Same thing with people who have been diagnosed with diabetes, and their body supposedly can't make insulin and stuff like that before, and its levels are out of whack. You clean out the toxins. I would say you're not diabetic, you're poisoned. Your kid's not autistic, he's poisoned. Your grandma isn't getting dementia, she's poisoned. So get the poisons out and see how much better it is.
Yeah, I find it amazing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just find it amazing how the autism rates shot through the roof after the vaccine schedules expanded and expanded and expanded to the point where what is it like over 22 vaccinations before they even get to school?
It's just insane. I don't think there's any kid that goes through all those regular vaccines that could come out normal. I don't think it's possible. Yeah, so if someone is completely buying into I don't even know what to call it, a government anymore. I found out, and I read this for myself. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, okay, so hold on. This thing that is mistermed the United States government is actually the United States corporation with a Dun & Bradstreet number. And I'm like, hold on for a second. This thing does operate like it only cares about itself, like the civilians and the population mean nothing. I do feel that and see that in the way it performs. But, I guess that's for another day.
Yeah.
But
brother, we could go on and about this stuff, man. I would, and we'll definitely do that. We'll get you back on. We'll talk about more of that stuff too. I really wanted to focus more on this incredible product. So, you mentioned microplastics, right? And I think microplastics are really important for us to talk about because I'm watching the club. We're running out of time, and I don't want to keep you longer than you have. When it comes to microplastics, where are we getting most of the exposure from for those? Bless you.
Sorry, that's my body working good.
That's
getting those toxins out.
So where are we getting the exposure to these microplastics? Where's the most of it?
With all these industrial processes, whether they're making plastics or anything you can imagine, most of our industrial processes are moved over to making things nano. It's actually cheaper because it makes them more effective. It works good. It works better all the way around. With nano-sized stuff, look at your wheels, your tread going down the road. That wears off, and anything nano, guys, is so light that when it hits the ground, a small breeze whips it up. It's all everywhere. Our air is far more polluted by thousands of times than what the in America, the Environmental Protection Agency, will allow anybody to talk about. You want to get censored and banned real quick, start trying to, and I won't do it because it'll kill my mission. I've known 2 guys that have done it, and they are in courtrooms every week driving around the United States. EPA keeps them busy for the rest of their life fighting them in court. And so I'm not doing it. But our air is very saturated with nanoplastics. All you got to do is breathe it in. All it's got to do is touch your skin, and it makes its way into your body. It's so small, it's transdermal, just like they make transdermal lotion. That's nano-sizing the stuff so that it gets into the skin. When you nano-size plastics or anything that gets into your body, plastics are positively charged, and they disrupt everything about your body. And they've been saying lately, like, we take in about a credit card worth of microplastics a month. That's pretty crazy.
Wow. Wow. You think about, that's a lot a month.
There's a whole lot in it. Yeah, I agree.
Holy cow.
So, yeah, I think that we are definitely at the times where they are trying to, I would say they're ahead of plan with Agenda 2030. meaning we got about 2.5 years left to have ourselves as fully ready in every way. I mean, I know that they're constricting us all the way around. The most important thing about any of our lives is maintaining our happiness and health, right? Wouldn't we all give up all of our successes and all of our accolades and all of the things, all the money we would have, we would give it up if we were going to have all happiness and health for the rest of our life, or if we had a loved one that was in peril. So learning how to put your body in position so it can do its natural functioning, it's as easy. I mean, this is as easy as it gets, folks. If you can't do this, to take the most clinically proven product ever in the detox space, that's the most attacked product, that's around $1 a day, and you got to do what I just did twice a day to find out what all the hype is about, to find out if it could do it for you too, is a no-brainer. It really is. And then once you see how good you can feel, you can be like, okay, I can see how if everybody was doing this for themselves, we would have a shot.
Yeah.
You know, at turning these things around, these political structures and all this other part of the systems that really need to be addressed, you know.
Yeah, and you know, and this it's an all natural product. This stuff is amazing. It really is. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. This is being honest with you folks. I don't put my name on things unless I've tried it out, and I've been trying this stuff out for almost 3 weeks now, and this stuff is really amazing. And the other thing too is, you know, it's natural. This is part. I read someplace that the sea plasma is almost identical to human blood plasma.
Yeah. Yeah. In World War I, that's what they would do the blood transfusions with, right? Because they didn't have enough blood from people. And so what they would take is the seawater, they would filter it, and then they would dilute it with 3 parts distilled or reverse osmosis water. Mm-hmm. And that is basically, I mean, really like way over 99% identical to your blood plasma. Sea plasma is really the highest quality part of the ocean. I mean, just take all the seawater, the sea plasma, just like you take all your blood, and blood plasma is the best. You know, you go to the marine, and marine plasma is the highest quality of that. And so we're dealing with the highest quality sea plasma minerals that are diluted down so they're identical to your body's molecular composition and molecular ratio. So it has the same mineral ratio to water that your body has. And it's the whole array of minerals too, because where those toxins are at in your body, you don't know what type of mineral you're supposed to have. Your body needs to be able to choose from the array of them. And that's what it does when it gets to have MasterPeace intercede in your body. Yeah. You get to pull out a toxin and replace it with the right mineral. It's really a neat thing to see the transition and feel the transition in your body.
And it's important too, because, you know, scripturally speaking, I'm a Christian. I'm a born-again Christian. Scripturally speaking, God tells us that our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Okay? Yeah. It's important for us to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves. And you've mentioned it before, is, you know, safeguarding our temple. You know, you've mentioned that before. And so to you, what does that mean personally?
Well, I know in all my forms of scientific thinking that it's all about the environment. Mm-hmm. And so the people you allow around you, the people you listen to, the food you eat, anything, the thoughts you choose to have and feed, everything affects your health. Everything can bring on mental stress, physical stress. Those things all make your body and mind have to go through it, what I call exposome, and that's, we don't need to go there. I would say that cleaning up, learning how to purify and clean up your environment so that you can thrive is the best way to go. You really will see the healthiest people in the world have that same mindset.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's really all that's all MasterPeace is. All MasterPeace does is grab synthetic, unnatural, forever chemicals, toxic things that don't belong in your body, and swaps it out with a mineral, and then magnetically traps that toxin to the zeolite. And remember, the body doesn't know what to do with it, so it gets rid of it through the respiration, perspiration. I'm so sorry, I never get sneezy, and it's my one time a year. This is literally the sickest I will get one time a year. I will sneeze for a day.
What makes it funnier is the fact that your camera is still kind of jumpy.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're moving in slow motion while you do it. So it's really so we got, you know, if I was taking screenshots, it would be perfect. I'd get some really good, you know, good funny memes out of this.
Yeah.
But bless you, brother. Bless you.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that we have a real winner for humanity here. There's some really big shows and people that their audiences inundate their email list with, oh my gosh, I've been dealing with this issue my whole life. I had no idea. I wasn't even expecting it to go away. I was just trying to do this with MasterPeace, and now all of a sudden this has gone away. And, you know, we have those come in every day. And, you know, it just couldn't have come at a better time. And it really did come out of the love of a father for his daughter. And the other men that came along, and women, it really is that beautiful of a story, right?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. So Matthew, so for somebody that's hearing all of this stuff for the first time, and you know, they want to learn more about buying the product and or reading or doing more research about it, where should they start?
Yeah, absolutely. I would go to masterpeace.health, and you can spell masterpiece however you want to. It'll work. Masterpeace.health. Go /Joe Rooz. That's important because it'll send you to the website where our research pages and so forth. Or I'm sorry, masterpeace.health /Rooz. The reason why you'll pay less. You'll pay $52.99. You don't pay sales tax. We're not tax keepers. We're not hired by the government to collect their sales tax. So it's $52.99. Shipping's a few dollars in the United States. And a bottle will last you about 45 days. On the website has all of our various studies. We have a huge Rumble channel with a lot of videos. Always good idea to check us out there. And you know, join up with some of our pages and so forth, because then as we have two different studies, we have a study right now with 350 people in it out of 22 countries, the hair test study. And, you know, you'll get to, you can even opt into that study on our website still, or you can see the results when it comes in. So it's really neat what's going on here, because we're getting to see shifts and improvements and changes in people that I guess a lot of us would say wasn't possible before. Because we have this new, better understanding of trying to find all these different supplements and things to feed our body to try to cure us of whatever issue we're dealing with. We're like, hold on, let's leave this up to God. Let's get out the junk that man made that doesn't belong in our bodies. Let's figure out a way to get that out. And let's see if the body that God gave me can work right? And so, you know, that's the theory that's being proved out very well right now, and how the quality of people's lives are improving around us.
And they are. And again, I can't say this enough. You got to try this product, folks. Please try it out. Use my link. Don't use my link. I don't care. It's not about money. I don't care about that. What I care about is that you try this product. This product is a great product. I wouldn't have Matthew on the show with me, and I wouldn't be talking about it. I wouldn't be being an affiliate with Human Consciousness Support if I didn't believe in this product. This stuff is good. It works, and I really want you to try it out. So please just head over to the website. Again, you could use my code. You don't have to use the code. I don't care. Just try it out. MasterPeace.health.
You save money.
Well, yeah, you can. You get 10% off. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm saying I'm not looking to make anything on this. So if you want to use it, yeah, great. You support the show. I appreciate that. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. Just try the product. Right. That's the thing. Try it out. Make your own judgment on this. I tried it out. I'm trying it out. I'm using it. I just picked up my next bottle. It's on the way. I ordered it this morning, I think it was. I wouldn't be doing it if it didn't work. Try it out. Look, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to run off the list for me of things that I've noticed in my life. And Matthew, you can jump in on this if you want to, say something about it. It's fine. Sleep. You mentioned sleep. Dude, I have not slept better in the last 3 weeks than I have since I started taking this product. Honestly. I would consistently get those aches and the pains, and in the legs and the hip and all that stuff while I'm sleeping, and get up and I'd walk around, come back to bed and whatnot. Dude, I am sleeping the night through. I am not waking up with those aches and pains, and whatever other aches and pains I get throughout the course of the day, it's nothing compared to what it was. I can't wait to see what it's going to be like after I've been on this product now for 2 months, to see how much better I'm going to be feeling. I started working out again. I mentioned it earlier on the show. I started working out again. And again, not to be gross, but the sweat that I've been producing from the workouts, it looks different. It smells worse. That's all the toxins. It's everything that's coming out of the body, right? Everything that has been poisoning this body is now coming out, and this stuff works. My appetite is different too. And I don't know if that's something that's part of Masterpiece or not, but my appetite's different. I'm not looking for those mid-afternoon sweets that, for that little pick me up. I'm not looking for that. I'm drinking more. It's just overall, it's an incredible product. And I wish I would have known about this sooner. I would have been on this a lot sooner. And I cannot recommend this thing enough. I really can't. And I want to thank you and your team for putting together this product. And folks, you got to try it out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't actually realize that the tobacco industry, they had who knows, right? But over like 800 carcinogens meant to perfectly make it addictive, taste, everything. Addictive in every way to take over and hijack our senses, right? Well, when they came under fire, the tobacco industry bought up the food industry. So like all those ones became, they all bought, and then they put the same exact technology and interjected it into the food. So then all the food had the pretty colors, smells, flavors. You can't just eat one Dorito, and they did all that.
Yeah.
Well, that stuff makes it where your cravings and your dietary habits are really controlled by an addictive system and so when you get those forever chemicals, those dyes, and you get all that stuff, there's nothing we haven't tested yet that we don't get out. I mean, we're still trying to find something. We'll be very honest. We would love to find something. It would actually favor me at this point to sit there and say it doesn't do everything. Mm-hmm. But when you get those things out, your cravings and what you want to eat, it's a lot easier to eat healthy, eat at the right times, drink more water. Your body is functioning better, and it wants the right stuff to maintain how it is going.
Yeah, I crave water all of a sudden. I used to like to drink water. I would drink it, regularly, but I feel like since I've been on this, I feel like I just want it more. I need it more. And I'm seeing the results of it. My skin quality's better. I'm sleeping better. Less aches and pains. And the dreams, by the way, I wanted to come back to the dreams. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, vivid, hyper-realistic dreams. I'm not going to get too detailed on this one because it's personal to me. It involved my family. But I had probably the most vivid dream about my mom, my dad, and my grandmother, who I told you I lost recently. Just a couple of nights ago, that felt so real. I woke up thinking that it actually took place, and I'm not saying that. It's not hyperbole. I'm being honest and serious.
I know.
It's an incredible product, and I just can't say that enough.
Yeah, my grandma loved me more than any woman in my life, and I was away at a time when she died, and I wasn't able to go to her funeral or see her in her last days and stuff. And when she got lung cancer, they did the biopsy, and she just fell apart after that biopsy. She went pretty fast, and when I started dreaming, I didn't even dream for like 20 years. When I started dreaming again, one of the first, and it was like I had never dreamed in color that I remembered as a kid. I would have like flying dreams, and that's what I'd have a lot and stuff.
Wow.
And to have a full color dream of my grandma where I'm getting to hug her, and those things are, that's the only thing that we get is our memories, and the only thing that we leave the earth and people with is how we made them feel.
Yeah.
So, You know,
Agreed.
it's yeah, what you actually spoke of, you'll hear nonstop when you're reading the testimonials and all that. Actually, my right hand man Paul will tell you that same story. It's like I needed that dream. It's like some part of you is like, I needed that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your pineal gland kind of knew, like, wow, we can finally fire this one off.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's something else I want to talk to you about at some point. So we got to get you back for that too. But talk about the pineal gland, because that's really interesting. You mentioned it on another show, and I think that's what it was that caught my attention when I was watching it on Alex Jones. You mentioned that, and yeah.
I'm more of a scientist than a woo-woo person when it comes to pineal gland. I'm more about the facts,
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's exactly where I want to go with it,
Yeah.
because I don't think people understand just how important the pineal gland really is, and what it's for, and why we have it, and what's being done to it, and why it's being done to it. These are very important discussions, and we'll have to do that another time. So what's next for you and Masterpiece and your research, and what's going on? What's next?
Well, we're completing a study on mycotoxins and parabens here in a week, and Died Suddenly 2, Died Suddenly 1 possibly had 1 billion views, and Died Suddenly 2 is all about our recent studies and Masterpiece, and the study with them and how to stop Agenda 2030. And so that should be done by the year's end. That's going to be a big deal. And really the most humble, modest, greatest man I've ever met, and anybody that's met him, Dr. Robert Young, he's going to be back with us in a couple weeks, and it is off to the races. Our success is measured by how many families are depoisoning and keeping themselves free from all this nasty stuff by using Masterpiece. That's how we measure it. I don't care about the money. Money ain't gonna do nothing for nothing I care about. And I care about what we can get in this word out. And so, our mission is to get this around the world as fast as possible. And we're off to a real good start. It's been a little bit less than 3 years, and it's been amazing. So, we're just going to keep fighting. You bring the truth out, the antidote.
Got to keep fighting that good fight, brother. Got to keep fighting that good fight. All right. So I was going to ask you who you respect and what do they do that inspires you, but I think you already answered that with Dr. Young.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Matthew Hazen, man, thank you so much for being here tonight. I really do appreciate it. I know we're over the hour. God bless you, brother. Thank you so much. Do you want to hang out backstage for a minute so I can wrap this up and I'll touch base with you really quick?
Sure.
Awesome, all right, awesome. All right. Matthew Hazen, folks. Check out the product, masterpiece.health/Rooz if you want to get the discount. If you don't, fine, masterpiece.health. Check out the product. Please head over there. Check it out. Matthew Hazen, I'll be right back with you.
Awesome.
All right. All right, folks. Wow, that was a lot of information, and I hope you caught it. Make sure you read the transcript on this one. This is really, really important stuff. Folks, just some really quick housekeeping. We'll wrap this thing up. And so if you would, head over to our website, joerooz.com, joerooz.com. When you get there, look for the contact form hidden up there in the upper right-hand corner. Open that thing up. Fire us off a message. Let us know whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind, any questions, comments, cares, concerns, complaints. You shouldn't have any complaints, but if you do, send it on over to us. Let us know what you're thinking. We really want to hear from you guys. Maybe you have a suggestion for a topic or a guest you want us to cover. Let us know. We want to hear from you. If you don't want to use the web form, fine. You don't have to. I know the CAPTCHA things drive you crazy, but you can email me directly at info@joerooz.com. That's info@joerooz.com. And or you could use the comment section down below on Rumble, on YouTube, and we'll make sure we get back to you on that one. All right. Don't forget also, this is a live show, weeknight, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, our Sunday Bible study show every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Central Time. And also, incredibly important, like, subscribe, share the show with your friends, your family, and your followers. All right. Shout outs to our producing team, executive producers, Wayne Rankin, Rosanna Rankin, Caroline Jimenez, Angela Watuski, and John Seeley. Thank you guys for all the support that you guys send over our way. Really do appreciate that. And folks, these folks donate their time, their talent, and their treasure. We call it the 3 T's, time, talent, treasure, to help put these shows together. We couldn't do it without them. So please, if you're interested and you want to help us out, just head over to the website, joerooz.com/support. You can find all the different ways you can help us out. One-time donations, recurring donations. Sign up as a producer. All the producers get a shout-out in every show, included in all the show notes, emails, newsletters, anything we send out. You all get that. Executive producers get to come on the show with us. Wayne does the Wednesdays with Wayne. We talk about practical prepping and homesteading with him every Wednesday afternoon. So check it out. Great stuff. A lot of really good information there. And also, if you sign up as an executive producer, associate producers, you get an IMDb credit, a professional credit you can put on your resume. So check it out, joeroos.com/support. All right. Man, we spent an awful lot of our times talking, but I'm not sure how much we actually spend listening. Tonight, you needed to listen to this story. MasterPeace. This product is amazing. I'm going to keep on saying it till I'm blue in the face and you people start buying it. It's a great product. Please go over to masterpeace.health/Rooz. Check out the products. Buy a bottle. Try it out. What's the worst so you're out $50. Big deal. In the grand scale of things, big deal. Try out the product. Please do that. Great stuff. You will see the results. I guarantee it. All right. And again, my thanks to Matthew Hazen. My thanks to all of you for joining us here tonight. Thank you for spending your evening with us. Make sure you check out the website, joeroos.com. Share the show with everybody that you know. Help us to spread the news, the love, the joy of our show. All right. With that said, folks, make Texas independent again. Go podcasting. Keep a steady stride. More important, make sure that you keep talking, folks. Have a great night, and we will see you next time. Good night, folks.